Oh, you're so happy about it. I actually think the Red Sox might not suck this year.
This is the Baseball Hour with Tony Maz.
Me.
Presented by Bigelow Tea, Jackson Lumber, Blue Moonlight, Wellesley Testosterone, FindMassMoney.com, and by Golf. On Boston's home for sports. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Down 2 strikes, 2 on. He tried to hold up a swing and a miss, and that does it. He strikes out. That is the ball game. 3-2 the final. Certainly not the way the Red Sox wanted to start 2025 as they drop 3 out of 4 here to the Texas Rangers.
Couldn't get the big hit. 1 for 24 combined in scoring position the last 2 nights. You lost both games by a run. That kind of tells the whole story.
The whole story right there. Bullpen's done an amazing job. They played good defense. Couldn't get the big hit. And bottom line, they got to go off to Baltimore for a 2:30 start tomorrow, and they better get it rolling.
And better figure out a way to score men in scoring position because that was dreadful for the series.
Well, Kevin Millar said they had to get to Baltimore and get it rolling. They didn't. That game's over, too. Again, the Red Sox played this afternoon in Baltimore. Game was supposed to be a 3:05 start. They started at 2:30 because of the fear of inclement weather. I don't know if the Red Sox had to agree to that or not, but in retrospect, they shouldn't have. Had they not agreed, maybe this game could have been rained out, although I doubt it. Obviously, they were able to play to this length. And either way, Red Sox losers in Baltimore. 8-5 was the final score. Alex Bregman pops up with 2 men on in the 9th to end the game. Boston now 1-4. We're going to open up the phones right away. 617-779-0985. What a freaking mess this is right out of the gate. What a freaking mess. And Jim Murray tells me the Red Sox, he just held up a piece of paper, that they went 3 for 14 today with men in runners in scoring position. That was after 1 for 24 the last 2 games. So, bottom line, the Red Sox are now 4 for 38 with men in scoring position in the last 2 games. 4 for 38. Oh, boy, does that suck. Wow. Holy crap. 617-779-0985. Here's where we're going to start. 1 is the overall offensive approach. 2 is Rafael Devers, not necessarily in that order. We'll take your thoughts on anything and everything because it is ugly and it's getting worse. For Devers, today in Baltimore, Kevin Majora, you're going to have to help me with this. I think Devers had 5 plate appearances and 2 walks. So immediately take 2 out. He went 0 for 3 with 2 more strikeouts. He now has 15 strikeouts in 19 at-bats, I think it is, to start the season. Is that right?
Yeah, it'd be 15 and 19. You said he had 2 strikeouts today. He had 3. He was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts today. Okay, so I got that wrong. So, again, which means it's even worse than I thought, and I thought it was pretty bad. So let me see if I can give you the exact numbers here. You're going to have to give me a second to punch this baby up. Rafael Devers on the season, 0 for 19, 15 strikeouts. Those 15 strikeouts through the first 5 games, the most by any player in the history of Major League Baseball. So Rafael Devers was off to the worst start in big league history 2 days ago when it was through 3 games and he had 10 strikeouts. Now we can add 2 more games on. It's 15 strikeouts through 5 games. Nobody has ever been worse at the start of a season than Rafael Devers. Hitless in 19 at-bats, 15 strikeouts. And there's been a lot of commentary and discussion on Devers. Some of it as it pertains to the Red Sox hitting approach. Some of it as it pertains to Devers in particular. I think both of those things are stories. So let me start by playing this. Post-game yesterday, on the desk with Tom Caron in the Nesson Studios were Jonathan Papelbon and Jim Rice. They had multiple discussions about the Red Sox offense, multiple discussions about Devers, but we're going to start with this particular exchange.
42 strikeouts through 4 games right now.
Kevin, can we stop for a second? I'm sorry. Let's rewind and start again. This is again after yesterday's game. 42 strikeouts for the Red Sox through 4 games. They have struck out 13 more times today. So it is now 55 strikeouts in 5 games, an average of 11 per game. It should not surprise you that the Red Sox are currently on pace to set a major league record for strikeouts in a single season. Now, it's only 5 games, but there were a lot of strikeouts in that lineup. Starting right now with Devers, which is why both things are a significant topic. 1, Devers. 2, the overall approach at the plate. Go.
Baltimore. 42 strikeouts through 4 games. Right now, they have more strikeouts than any other team in the American League. This is what they talked about after last season. We got to change the mentality. With 2 strikes, we got to figure out a way to shorten it, simplify it, cut down the strikeouts. They've picked up where they left off in that category.
Well, how can you cut down on your strikeouts when you're trying to get the ball in the air? When you're trying to get the ball in the air, your swing is big. When you try to hit line drives, your swing is shorter. That's all I got to say.
Ha! Wow, what a shock. Remember, in spring training, Jim Rice was sitting by the batting cage when a Red Sox minor leaguer approached him about hitting. Rice gave his 2 cents, and a member of the Red Sox staff, presumably someone from baseball operations, one of the nerds, approached Rice and said, well, that's not the way they want to do it. Rice took offense. That story became a thing. And now Jim Rice still preaching that the Red Sox are trying to hit the ball in the air. They're taking the wrong approach at the plate. And he said this multiple times after the game yesterday. And I can't hear him right now, but I'd be willing to bet he's saying something similar. Unless they told him to put a sock in it, which I wouldn't rule out. But even so, Jim Rice thinks their approach at the plate sucks. Their performance at the plate definitely sucks. The Red Sox are on pace for a record number of strikeouts. And now Nesson is showing another graphic. Most strikeouts this season with men in scoring position. The Red Sox, you'll be unsurprised to learn, 23 strikeouts with men in scoring position. Easily the most in baseball. So Rice doesn't like the approach. Do you? How could you? They can't even make contact. Trevor Story, 3 strikeouts today. Rafael Devers, 3 strikeouts today. Alex Bregman, he's not exactly producing either. He only struck out once. So the Red Sox had 8 hits, 13 strikeouts. The 2, 3, 4, and 5 hitters struck out 3, 4, 5, 8 times. And Tristan Casas entered the game late. He actually put the ball in play but was retired. So you tell me where you want to start. The manager, the hitting coach, the third baseman, the shortstop, take your pick because there are a lot of logs on that fire. And I will just tell you quickly, if I were Pete Fatsey, the Red Sox hitting coach, I'm not telling you that anything's coming. I have no inside information. I'd start to worry a little bit. They've invested a lot of this in this team, and not just financially. There's a lot at stake in terms of the hype, the young players, the pitching, all of it. And the offense has gone completely belly up here in the first 4 games. Devers is a significant part of the problem. But I want to hear from as many as you as possible over the course of the next hour, because I'm always curious as to the temperature of Red Sox fans at a time like this. Wow, does this suck? Ha! Holy crap. Sean in Colorado, you lead us off. What do you got?
Maz, how are you tonight? I just wanted to talk about the approach with runners in scoring position has been annoying to me. I'm a sports science guy. I think there's a really great utilization of the driveline techniques, the elevate and the bat speed and exit velo and all that. But my biggest issue is they're not utilizing it properly, and they're utilizing it in every single situation. They're not shortening up and utilizing a line drive approach when they need to with runners in scoring position. They're still taking that nobody on 2-out approach. I need to elevate and swing for the fences here when that's not the correct utilization of that at bat. I mean, if you look at the 2 guys who had success, I guess, between this series and the Texas series, Willier and Campbell, they utilized good line drives and put the ball in play when needed. And then you look at Meyer, he had such a great spring training because he was good at putting the ball in play. He wasn't swinging for the fences every single chance he got. So he utilizes the drive line when it's needed, and when it's not, he doesn't.
So, Sean, thank you for the call. And look, for those of you who don't even know what Driveline is, the Red Sox hired, what's his name again? Jason Oshart? Is that his name? Jason? I think it's Jason Oshart, who is one of the original founders, I think, of Driveline Technology, which is a, for lack of a better description, a nerd think tank based in Seattle that uses all types of metrics and, data and analysis to break down a hitter's swing and tell him what he has to do to be successful. Christian Campbell is their prized pupil. Christian Campbell's hitting in the early part of the year. Now, are the Red Sox forcing all this stuff on other guys in the lineup? Hell if I know. I'd like to think that a guy like Rafael Devers knows how to hit on his own and isn't going to change anything dramatically. I think Devers is sort of a separate story. But here's the thing. When a team looks like the Red Sox look right now, they look like they're trying to jack everything or hit everything 400 feet. And I would also tell you that a lot of this is personnel-based. I know you don't want to hear it, but this is sort of part of the deal. So I'm going to see just quickly, I'm going to see if I can find the Red Sox full team stats from a year ago, because I think there are a lot of strikeouts in this lineup, and there always have been. Rafael Devers strikes out a lot. Last year, he struck out 147 times. Ceddanne Rafaela struck out 151 times. Tyler O'Neill was here. He's gone, but that was 159. Jarren Duran struck out 160 times. Wilyer Abreu struck out 125 times. Connor Wong struck out 114 times. And remember, he plays less, so as a catcher. Now, Trevor Story missed the season. He's a strikeout machine. Story makes contact, I would argue, as little as anybody on the roster. Tristan Casas missed all of last year. He strikes out a crap ton. So there are a ton of strikeouts on this roster. Some of it is approach. Some of it is personnel. How are you going to fix the personnel issues? You getting rid of Devers? Story is replaceable because there's a kid in Worcester, Marcelo Meyer, who had a hell of a spring and was breathing down his neck before camp ended. So now we can debate all kinds of changes and whatnot. I think it's a little early, but I would tell you, Trevor Story's been the same player since he came here. Rafael Devers is in a funk like we have never seen. Tristan Casas, also a mess. Some of those guys aren't coming out of the lineup. Meanwhile, they're 5 games in and the Red Sox are 1-4. The home opener's on Friday. They have a chance of opening their home ballpark in 2025 with a 1-6 record. Regardless, they are now guaranteed of coming home with a losing record that could be anywhere from 1-6 to 3-4, or obviously in between. So I want to get to Devers specifically, which we'll do when we come back. But if you are frustrated, you have a reason to be. And that Red Sox depth at the end of the rotation, Sean Newcomb went out to the mound today, did not last long. Alex Cora burned Garrett Whitlock because the Red Sox cut the game to 4-3 and he was trying to keep it close. Pretty much everything went wrong for the Red Sox today. Thankfully, they are off tomorrow. So I promise, your calls, more on Devers when we come back on the Baseball Hour.
get into a spring training game. I'll say this, didn't put himself into a spring training game until about 3 weeks into the exhibition season.
That was a little strange. He was ready to go on a Tuesday, and he basically took like 2 extra weeks because his swing didn't feel comfortable on hitting the backfield. Well, that's what spring training games are for. Stats don't count. Get in those spring training games and find your swing rather than the backfield.
Yeah, that's weird to me. I'm sorry. You want to play. You come in excited with the boys. Okay, a day or two, great, but...
Cut on him as strike 3. Sox get a man to third, but strand him there, 1-0 Texas.
So I want to get to your calls, but let me do this quickly. That was during the game yesterday. Dave O'Brien and Lou Merlone, and you heard Dave O'Brien say there during the broadcast. I'll say this. Rafael Devers didn't put himself in a game, implying that it was Devers' decision. Okay, and again, I'm not totally surprised by this, but I think what you have there is official confirmation that they went to Devers, and Devers is the one that said, I'm not ready to go, I don't want to play. I want to get my timing down on the backfield. Meanwhile, he shows up, and what? His timing sucks. And everybody can see it. It's not that revolutionary, but he doesn't get his foot down. He's got a very open stance now, and you can blame the open stance if you want. Changing your batting stance can be largely psychological. I'm not telling you the mechanics don't matter, but it can be psychological. So guys will change their feet position, just try to get something, get a little quicker or whatever, or open up a little more because they can't handle the pitch inside. Devers was having trouble with the inside pitch last year, so he started opening his stance more. Now it's become really open. Is that the reason he can't get around on a fastball? No. He doesn't get his front foot down in time. The ball's on top of him before his second foot is back on the ground. That's an easy one. And I hate that whole big leg kick nonsense. I hate it. I like guys who hit with a small step, small kick, or no movement at all. Keep your feet stable. Now, there are some guys who move around. Christian Campbell moves his feet, but at contact, they're still. So, again, he can get away with it. But Devers, all over the place. And during Nesson, boy, they're getting on him. They got on him in the game yesterday, both O'Brien and Merlone, which tells me somebody in the organization, if they had a conversation before the game about why isn't Devers hitting? How come he didn't play earlier in spring training? Well, he called that. We didn't, but don't quote me on that. So they go with it on the air. And I'm not accusing them of anything. I'm just trying to give you an idea of how it went down because I've lived it. All of a sudden it's, we told him we wanted him in games for this reason. Don't quote me, but. So I think it's something like that. Meanwhile, in the studio, more from Papelbon and Jim Rice.
To me, I don't know. The miles per hour on their swing speeds are down as well. So, TC, you mentioned this earlier. Did they come in out of shape?
Listen, with the case of Rafael Devers, they talked about it during the broadcast. We talked about it a lot. He didn't start playing until late. It was going to be late, and then he pushed it back 2 more weeks.
Okay, so
he said his shoulder hadn't swung it. So
he's out of shape. Maybe he's out of shape. I don't know about both of them, but, game shape, playing shape, but... maybe we got to trim a little bit of fat, Jim. You know what happens when you trim fat? Well, we know they're not a hitting shake, right? So they're not hitting. Okay, go ahead. We're talking about trimming fat. What happened? Pig squeal. Oh.
Where's this going? No, go ahead.
I'm just saying, you trim fat, pig squeal. Squeal. That's what you're looking for your pigs to squeal.
They need some squealing.
Hit home runs.
They need some squealing.
But is it the shoulders? Is it, is he in shape? We don't know these things. But to me, it looks like the swing is just a little bit behind.
Which is why they're beating him with fastballs.
Correct.
Simple as that.
The swing is a little bit behind because you swing too big.
Okay, so again, Rice goes back to the long swings. He doesn't like the Red Sox approach as an organization. I'm curious as to where Cora stands on that because Cora has been preaching for a while now athleticism and putting the ball in play. The Red Sox are 10 for 10 in stolen bases, so they're running more. I think they're better defensively. You can see the athleticism on the team now. But they have 55 strikeouts, 11 a game in the first 5 games. There's no way Cora's on board with that. That's not how Cora wants to play. So I think, and again, I say someone needs to ask, I'm not over there anymore, but someone needs to ask Cora, what is your offensive philosophy as it pertains to strikeouts, and are you executing it? Because it doesn't feel to me like they are. Secondly, Papelbon says, well, the miles per hour on their swings, on their swing speeds is down. Did they come in out of shape? He didn't say he said they. So who's he talking about? Devers is easy. Trevor Story? Bregman, who didn't look like he was in great shape when he came in. And I'm not telling you he was fat and out of shape, but he wasn't in great shape. Story looks like he takes pretty good care of himself. Casas actually looks good to me physically. So I don't know if Casas is out of shape, but his timing sucks. Story's timing has always sucked. Devers' timing sucks now. So these guys aren't ready to go. Story missed some games in the spring too. A couple of days he had back spasms. Maybe there's an injury there. I don't know. But again, his career average in Boston is like 230. His OPS is under 700. So it's not like he's been good in other years, whether it's a back injury or not. I'd be looking at the hitting approach, and if Rafael Devers is pouting or he didn't work at it in spring training because he was pissed off, guess what? Lights are on. Time to play. So we'll go to your calls now. I just asked you to be quick so we can get to as many people as possible. Drew in Boston, what do you got?
Hey, Tony, at what point, year over year, where every year, it's 7 seasons now we're going into with Cora. We have a slow start all but one of the years. We're in last place damn near every year. The team looks horribly underperforming already, and that seems to be every year, regardless of talent, we underperform because last place still shouldn't be where we are, regardless of the talent that we put out there. What point are we going to start to look at Cora and stop pointing fingers at everywhere else? Because they've tried every different thing, all these different players, all these different roster makeups. Okay, Drew, I got you. I asked you to keep it short, so let me let you go. But here's the one thing I would ask. You want to blame Cora, go ahead, blame Cora. I'm not telling you the manager's exempt. How does the manager stop people from striking out? Tell me how he does that. You want him to buy them torpedo bats? What do you want him to do? How do you blame the manager for veteran guys? Story, Devers, veteran guys. How do you blame Cora for them striking out? Chuck's in a car. Chuck, go ahead.
Hey, I just hated the signing of Rafi Devers. He reminds me of a Pablo Sandoval coming in out of shape and fat, and then just doesn't try hard. You hope that he would be like a big Poppy, but he ends up being more like a Pablo Sandoval, and just like tired of the game. Maybe, we have fungo bats, we have pitchers getting cold.
Okay, I don't know where you go with the fungo bats. Chuck, I'll tell you this. I don't think Devers is a guy who historically has not tried hard. Now, this year is different. They asked him to change positions. He was pissed about it. He pouted during spring training. He stayed on the backfields and didn't get into games. So the Red Sox trusted him to get himself ready. He didn't. So you want to go off on them for that? Fine, no problem. I get that. They should have pushed him harder. But again, he's a veteran guy. And I don't remember a lot of people bitching about it when they signed him because they had let so many guys go. So the problem with Devers is he's a one-trick pony. He either hits or he doesn't. Most of the time he hits. And remember, he's a guy that can swing at bad pitches and hit them out of the ballpark. How many times have we said, how in the hell did he hit that pitch and get it out of the ballpark? Because he's a great bat-to-ball guy. Right now, he's not even close. Not even close. Although I will say in the last 2 days, his at-bats were better than they've been in the first 3 games. But still not close. Rico in Springfield. Go ahead, Rico.
Hi, Tony. You're talking about how you can blame Cora. This is how I'll blame Cora. There's an overarching theme with his teams to favor players with last names like Hernandez and Ramirez. If Yoshida got off to a start like this, AC would see to it, not that he'd be at Green Street in Worcester, but that he'd have his green card revoked. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah, I don't think that Yoshida's the problem. I don't think he singularly fixes their issues. And remember, he's got bad shoulders too. He can't throw. Does that affect him at the plate? I don't know. But does anyone really think that Yoshida's more of a bat-to-ball guy, strikes out less? That's good. But I don't think he fixes their problems per se. You lose some athleticism and you lose defense. You have to DH him, which means Devers got to go back in the field, and then Bregman's going to go where? Second. So you got to take Campbell out? Or do you just bench Devers? Paul and Quincy. Paul, go ahead.
Hey, how are you? Listen, how long does Alex Cora let this go? Because if Devers doesn't get out of his funk in the next 2 days, it's going to get ugly on Friday the first time he gets to the plate. Now you have a disgruntled player getting booed, and it's even worse. Cora should have known that. Yes.
Paul, no, I'm sorry. It's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point. He's going to get a day off tomorrow, but in retrospect, you look at it and say they were going against a lefty today. Was that an opportunity for Cora to get Devers 2 days away from the ballpark? Or does he do it the other way around? Again, tomorrow's an off day. Does he give him Wednesday off so that Devers gets 2 days to walk away, work out, get some strength back in his upper body in particular, maybe get his foot down quicker, take some batting practice, and try to play in the finale? Is that what he does? But I think we've reached that point. It's a fair point by you. Have we reached a stage where Devers has to sit? I mean, I don't know how anyone can say no. What is he, 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts? He's got like 4 walks all in the last 2 days, I think. He's having trouble getting the ball in play. He's fouling him off now. He fouled some pitches off today. He can't get the ball in play. Even if a couple of the balls that he hit yesterday that were ground outs were right down the line. He can't get anything in the middle of the field. It's brutal. Literally, you could send any one of us up there and get the same results as you're getting right now with Devers, minus the walks. Think of that. Kyle Fabrizio has your headlines. Don't go anywhere. And you know what I'm going to do during the break real quick? I am going to go back and look at what the Red Sox April record has been under Alex Cora, because frankly, I think a lot of you people have your heads up your ass. That's next.
put up a crooked number. Big one.
You got an ace for a reason, and the Red Sox need him on Wednesday. They need Crochet to pitch like one in his second start.
They need Crochet, all right. Do they ever? That's why he's here. Get him wins. 1-0 when Crochet pitches, 0-4 the rest of the time. Before we get back to your calls, because again, this one always goes up my ass. You want to blame Alex Cora, blame Alex Cora. Seriously, I got no problem with that at all. And I'm not telling you Cora's been perfect. But this idea that the Red Sox suck all the time at the beginning of the year is wrong. So again, I just looked it up, and I did it relatively recently, but I didn't write it down. This time I wrote it down. Last year, in March and April, they went 17-13. They did not suck out of the gate. The year before, 15-14. Again, one game over. Not great, but doesn't suck. 22, 9-13. You want to tell me they got off to a slow start that year? Fine, no problem. That's 1 out of 3. 2021, I'm pretty sure I know where that one's going. 17-10 in March and April. That year, they made the playoffs. It was a good start. 2020, he wasn't here. Okay, that was COVID, so they didn't play until what? July, August? I don't even remember. It was late in the year. And they sucked. He wasn't even here, but that's not on him. I mean, the missing the season is, but their slow start is not. The year before, 2019, the year after they won, that one you can put on him. 13-17, team wasn't ready to go. They were living off the World Series win. That was it. And 2018, they went 21-7. So again, winning record in 18, winning record in 21, winning record in 23, winning record in 24. He wasn't here in 20. And the 2 bad years, they were 4 under, 13-17 and 9-13. So those of you that say he gets off to a crappy start every year, like I said when we went to break, you have your heads up your ass. Not true. You want it to be true because they're 1-4 now, but it's not true. Kurt in Worcester. Go ahead, Kurt.
Hey, Matt, how you doing? A quick stat and a comment. In 1995, Tony Gwynn in 585 at-bats struck out 15 times.
Correct.
Devers just tied that with 19 at-bats. What does that tell you? He came into spring training and said, I didn't pick up a bat since last year. Why are they letting him play?
Okay, so Kurt, it's a legit question. The strikeout thing with Tony Gwynn, I mean, Wade Boggs didn't strike out much either. How many home runs did Tony Gwynn hit? So you can find a million guys to make that stat about, and I'm not picking on you. I get it. But it's really, they're not even remotely the same player, and I don't want every guy to be the same player. I'm okay with a guy who strikes out and hits home runs and provides run production. I'm okay with that. Now, why is he playing? Legit question. He'll be off tomorrow because they all will be. What do they do from there? I don't know. I'd consider putting him on the DL and send him down to Worcester. Get some at-bats down there, get your timing right, and then come back when you're ready because you weren't ready in spring training. Martin in Texas, frequent caller. Go ahead, Martin.
Hey, Tony. I know Devers is getting all this attention because of the strikeouts and the contract and his star player and all that, but Tristan Casas has 1 hit out of all the drama that he causes and all the crap I get tired of with him taking all these borderline strikes that he gets, caught looking on. I get that he's right most of the time, but he's got to protect the plate in order to produce runs and be one of the best hitters in the lineup like he's supposed to be. And he keeps on screwing up. Like, you got to expand and protect yourself a little bit. Am I wrong here?
No, you're not wrong. And again, Martin, I'm not, I think I've never disputed Casas' talent in the batter's box. Okay, what my issue with Casas is more that he seems to never be wrong about anything. So that's my issue with Casas, which feels like a significant problem for a young guy who got here 10 minutes ago and has been hurt half the time he's been in the big leagues. So that's my issue there. But overall, when you look at the performance of their key players, coming into today, Rafael Devers 0 for 16, Bregman 4 for 17, Tristan Casas 1 for 16, Trevor Story 1 for 11. Those are your 2, 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Devers is making $30 million a year. Bregman's making $40. Casas wants to be paid like those guys, and Trevor Story's making $23. So combined, add it all up, $100 million for the heart of your batting order. Garbage. in the early part of the year. They have been awful. Danny in a car. Danny, go ahead.
Well, I think the bats will come around here with runners in scoring position. My question to you, is it too early, and will the Red Sox brass think about getting rid of the contract of Trevor Story and bringing up Marcelo?
How?
Eat the contract. Put him on the bench. Put 25th guy, put him on the bench, send him down, or trade him and eat $15 million a year.
Okay, well, that's a different thing. You said get rid of the contract. You're not getting rid of the contract. You're stuck with the contract. So, eat the money? Sure. Could Marcelo Meyer be breathing down his neck? Yeah, I thought he was at the end of camp. I thought it already started there. Marcelo Meyer, I'll played him in spring training, but Story's a veteran guy, so they're going to go with the veteran guy. There's also an issue of a left-handed batter versus a right-handed batter, and they were a little too left-handed, blah, blah, blah. But what good is the right-handed bat if he can't make contact? And again, I'll say it again, because I got a little sick of all the Trevor Story stuff over the winter, and I say all the Trevor Story stuff. Well, Story's back. The defense will be good. He can't hit. He can't hit. And you know what? Story would be a good, number 7 hitter on a championship team. Unfortunately, this team has him batting in the middle of the order. He's just not that guy. He's hitting 5th. He's not a number 5 hitter. You're going to need him in key spots with some of your better players on the bases, and Story is not that guy. Evan in New York and Alex Cora. Go ahead, Evan.
Hey, Tony. One of the things you mentioned earlier, and which is a fair point, is how is the manager supposed to stop people from striking out? You can't. But what you can do is keep the only guy that's been hitting, Wilyer Abreu, in the lineup. I don't care that you bench Casas today. Why is Wilyer not playing against lefties? He's young. He's proven he can hit. So your best way to stop the funk that your offense is in is to take your best hitter out of the lineup. That's my second guessing a corner. Sometimes it's these little lineup decisions that seem so obvious to me that he doesn't do it. And that's what frustrates me about him, is why is he not in lineup? He came in and pitch hit today. He had a rocket up the middle. It got gloved, but it was like the first hard contact all day. Shocker, I know. So he's the only one that's hitting. Why isn't he in the lineup?
Okay, Evan, I got it, and you're not wrong. So again, Cora, the early part of the year here, they're playing a bunch of games in a row. They hadn't faced a lefty yet, so he used it today as an opportunity to get the right-handed bats in. Now, if you don't like that, no problem. I understand the logic, but your point about Abreu is a good one. Casas was out of the lineup because he hasn't looked good. Why couldn't Devers have been out of the lineup? Abreu stayed in right field and Ref Snyder been the DH. Could have done that, right? Something like that. So I think that's a fair second guess. Totally reasonable to offer that up there. Let's go to Tommy in Medford. Tommy, go ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. In regards to the Red Sox athletes coming into shape or out of shape, right, whether it's a medical exemption or not, who's the off-season monitor that watches their daily weight conditioning and running and aerobic conditioning? Who monitors all that? And if these guys are coming in and out of shape, who's to be blamed for that?
Okay, so Tommy, they have guys that check in with players all the time. It's not like though they have someone living with them every day to make sure that they're working out and that they're eating. I mean, years ago when people keep comparing Devers to Pablo Sandoval, when Pablo Sandoval was here, I remember hearing at one point that the Red Sox had a security guy or a team employee, call it whatever you want, sitting outside of Sandoval's room in the middle of the night because they had to stop him from ordering room service all the time. His eating was, had reached such a point late at night, and he was putting on weight that they literally had to have someone watching it. Now, when these guys go into the off season, they are grown men. And let's face it, most of them show up in pretty good shape. Devers has always had an issue with that, particularly with, I would say the eating. Harold Reynolds talked about this in spring training. He came in heavy. He said 240 this year. I think he's heavier than that. But I did hear whispers during spring training that after camp got started, he didn't look any better. So I'm sure the team was in contact with him. Rafi, make sure you do what you're supposed to do. Okay, but he didn't. And also, this past winter, I should emphasize this, he was recovering from a couple of shoulder injuries that created, a different schedule for him during the offseason because he couldn't swing a bat and couldn't do some of the things he would normally do. He wasn't throwing really till he got to spring training. Can you get on a bike? Can you jog? Even if you can't throw or hit, can you make a concerted effort to watch what you eat? And I suspect that has been a problem with him all along. But now he showed up in camp late. Then he got pissed off about, I say showed up in camp late, showed up in camp without having an off season. So his program was late. He was pissed off about being moved off at third base. He went and sulked on the backfield, didn't get in the lineup and play in real games, and now all of a sudden he's way behind on fastballs and looks completely lost. I mean, when you add all that up, I'm not surprised. Alex in Connecticut. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, hi, Tony. We know the 3 or 4 problems that are glaring in front of us. So, one by one, get rid of Story. It's never worked out with Story in the Red Sox. You do what you have to do to move it the best that you can and bring up Myers. I'd have Casas on a short leash, and you got to sit down Devers. And like the previous caller said, I'd rather have Abreu up there. Sit down Devers, send him down and straighten out his head because he's out of it. You can see it. He's sitting there. He's miserable. He's lost. He's in a funk. And just go at these things one at a time. But the first thing you got to do is move Story out of there. Okay. And find room to bring up Anthony as well if you can.
Okay, so look, again, moving Story out of there, and I understand everybody says sit him down, it's all over, get rid of him. They're not going to do that after 5 games. They're not. Now, what do they do? I don't know. They could bring Meyer up. I'm not anticipating that just yet. It would be a little bit of a panic move. It's only 5 games. And as Kevin Majori just pointed out during the break, and someone else mentioned this too, Texas and Baltimore are both good teams. But the point is that the Red Sox are also supposed to be better this year. The games in Texas were competitive. Today, as much as it was 4-3 going into the late innings, I never felt like it was really all that competitive. Sean Newcomb was a starting pitcher, didn't have much. The Red Sox got behind 4-0. They were chasing the whole time. Now, Baltimore blew it open in the bottom of the 8th, went up 8-3. The final was 8-5. But you never had control of the game, really. I would say the only time you had control is when Whitlock came in from the bullpen. He pitched 2 scoreless. Quickly, Nolan and Spencer. Go ahead, Nolan.
Hey, if you remember any of my calls, I have almost nothing good to say about the Red Sox. But when they have given him a representative major league roster, Alex Cora has gotten results. I'm sick and tired of hearing him scapegoated for the lack of execution by the players.
So, look, I happen to agree there, Nolan. I think that the game is largely about talent. The matchups are individual. It's not like you can scheme things. You can certainly come up with a pitching philosophy, a hitting philosophy. They haven't done that. The one thing I would caution, I tried to warn many of you that they were pretty good. They're not great. They're not great. They're not at great yet. For those of you who are picking them to represent the American League in the World Series. How about they start by getting over 500? Because that is now a challenge. Celtics at Memphis coming up at 7:30. Pregame coming up next. Sean Grandy, Cedric Maxwell. Joe Murray will be in studio, so he'll get you at halftime and then at postgame as well. Right, Joe? Thanks for listening. We'll catch you tomorrow in the Baseball Hour.